The first thing that I noticed whilst we were driving around in Slovakia was the amount of dead bugs on the windscreen of the cars, because you just don't get that in Britain anymore. You know, you drive around, years ago your windscreen would be covered in them, but now it just doesn't happen, which I assume is where the farmers are using more and more pesticides all the time. This waterfall is in a place called Lukai, or Lucky as we would call it, so it's known as the Lucky Waterfall. It's the highest one in Slovakia, and the waterfall's down 13 metres in total. This place, as you might have guessed, is where a bit of romance can take place, and a lot of courting couples come here at night. There's lights all around it as well, so at night it does illuminate up. You're also seeing the water here, the fishes in this little pool, but to me they look like they were trout. Couldn't see for definite, but it certainly looked like it. And all around here, all you see is fly fishermen catching trout, so you certainly wouldn't be surprised. There's loads of these excellent wooden carvings around the lake as well. In fact, all over this area of Slovakia, you see these wooden carvings or totems, and no one seems to take them either. You think if it was England, they wouldn't last a night before they'd be in someone's back garden. There's the hotel where I'm staying. This is the road. It's just so quiet. That hotel was 14 quid a night. So this is the room. 2 single beds, telly, microwave, kettle, little hob, sink. There's a fridge underneath the sink, and then shower bathroom. 14 quid a night. Not bad, eh? 14 quid. This is something you don't often see. The roof's made of tin. I did ask, and apparently it was just a cheaper way of doing it. But I'd imagine they must get terribly hot when the sun starts hitting them. That night, purely by chance, there was a camp with bikers in the village who were doing a bike run the following day for charity, I believe. And my friend was telling me that in the morning they go up to the local church and the priest actually blesses them. So I thought I'll get up early and go and have a look at that. There, the bloke in the white is the priest there who's going to bless them all.
Chválili Boha v jeho stvoreniach, cítili jeho dobrotu v pohostinstve bratov, zvestovali ľuďom dobrú.
some of the buildings that you see on your travels around this country, and the churches as well, with the backdrop of the forest, is absolutely spectacular. After the bikers had gone, we set off to a place called Oravsky, where we were going to do some rafting down the river there, and visit a big castle there, Rava Castle. So originally this river would have been used for them transporting lumber. Basically they would have tied all the logs together, stood on them using a pole, because it's not particularly deep, this river, and then pushing it along and then following the flow of the river all the way down. And what the guy was saying to us is that sometimes there'd be like weeks on this thing. They'd get down the other end, sell the wood, they'd earn such good money on it, they'd buy a horse to ride back on. Then once they got back, they'd have no use for the horse, so they'd eat it, and then they'd continue the process and get another load of logs and go back again.
Čiže keď král povedal, že ide sa so soľou z Vieličky, tak sa išlo. Oni vlastne
That, what you can see there high above looking down on us, is Rava Castle. This castle started life as a wooden hill fort back in 1241 when the Mongols invaded. The actual area then was part of Hungary. During the following years it was transformed into a 160-room castle, although a lot of it was destroyed in the 18th century during a big fire there that ravaged the place. There's the old roadie for status quo. Every one of these chairs is carved differently, every one of them. How beautiful they are. If you had the money back then, nothing was plain, everything was beautiful. The castle has been used for a number of films over the years, most infamously for the 1922 version of Nosferatu that was filmed here. There's also been a few series and other small budget films, but one other big name one was Dragonheart that was filmed here. Not only is the beer superb here in Slovakia, also the food is probably the best I've ever had. This first one here is like a cob loaf of bread hollowed out, filled with garlic soup, and you basically eat the lot. The second one is some chops in a beautiful mushroom sauce with potato pancakes. This place is known as the village of the wolf, apparently. Hopefully we won't find out. So what is that saying about the bears?
It's biology, what they eat. There is security when you meet the bear, and here is written how to don't meet a bear, to don't go into the forest during the early morning or late evening. If they are taking some fruits from the forest, so you better leave that place, leave that area, and don't leave the garbage outside because they are eating that.
They reckon there's 1,500 brown bears running around in this area. They stopped culling them apparently, and they've been breeding like mad. Yeah, one of the most stunning things in this village so far, using the wrong mix to patch that bit of stonework in. Don't they look awful? This is called the Witch House, and then that sign there says park your broomstick here. That place there apparently is you can rent and stay in there. Although this village is looking beautiful now in the sunshine, come winter it's an absolute nightmare here. Even today people can get trapped up here in the snow, so you can imagine back in the medieval period how hardy the folk must have been to have survived living here. It's the local church, the village cemetery. This place here is a Slovak mountain village from the 14th century. It's a wooden settlement which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's 55 different houses here on the site, with 6 of them actually housing people. I think there was 20 permanent residents here of the village. And the name of the village, I'll try to pronounce it, Vilkolinek, and that name translates to Village of the Wolf. I'd not eaten rabbit for years, so when I see this dish I thought I'm going to try a bit of that, and it was absolutely lovely. The size of the bowl though, the photo doesn't do it justice. It was massive. I could only eat about half of it. There was so much food there. So I'm now in Liptovsky Mikulas, waiting for the Flix bus to Poprad, which should be here in about 25 minutes. My last experience with Flix bus weren't too good because they cancelled on me, but it does say that this one is on the scoreboard, and it does say that it's on its way, so fingers crossed. Lo and behold, looks like it's turned up. There we go, 40 minutes later and we're here in Poprad. I'm just wondering where the hotel's going to be, and I can see it, the Tatra over there. Nice and easy. So this is inside the second hotel, the Tatras. Quick one, the bathroom, shower, blah blah blah. Same again, 2 single beds, TV, table, blah blah blah. No fridge or whatever in here, but quite a nice view. That's the view out the window, the Tatra Mountains in the background. Can't really see that side because of that other hotel in the way. But this was 40 quid for the night with a breakfast. So again, nothing. Just a quick word of warning about Poprad. In itself, it's a lovely little village, or town rather. It's quite small, but around the bus station and the train station, there are a few undesirable type of people that will thieve off you or aggressive begging. So just bear that in mind. I found a nice little restaurant in the town centre here with a great selection of beers. And I thought I'm going to have the regulation schnitzel. I always like one of them on my trips. And this place as well done a beer ice cream. So I thought I'd better sample one of them as well for my pudding. Well, this is Poprad. This is the old town, I think. There's not a great deal to it. It's sort of like end of that road. There's a few pavement bars and cafes, and that's about it, to be honest. There's a church here, a couple of statues, and that end of it seems to be a bit more modern. But yeah, you've got enough places to eat and drink down here, but that's about it. I had to do a double take on that road name up there. Could have been telling you something, couldn't it? Ticket, €7 return, 8.03. Looks like there's one going at 8.10.
Forget to validate your ticket in the ticket stamping machine. The next stop is Stary Smokovec. Change.
And here we are, the bloke with a chainsaw to ruin the video. Never let you down, do they? I've just got the cable car up the mountain. This is the viewing platform. That's how high we are. That's that bloke with a chainsaw again. He must have been on the cable car with me. Seems to be a lot of influence on bears up here. Forgot to mention about this stuff. It's called Kofola, and it's their version of Coca-Cola here in Slovakia, but it's really nice. But if it ain't enough to worry about the bears, you got avalanches as well. That's it, we're back off down now on the cable car. This is €16 for a round trip, and it takes 7 minutes to get up to the top. You do actually see though, as you're going up or even going down, people walking to the top. It must be a hell of a walk coming up here all the way. Quite a lot of birds of prey you see as well, like just hovering around, especially when you're on the other train coming here. Not sure what these wooden things are. Look like some type of religious thing. Look at the building behind this with the witch's hat spire. Different. Sadly, I couldn't stay too long up in the mountains as I had to get back to Poprad to get my flight back home. But I'd fully recommend anyone coming to this place. It's absolutely stunning, and it is like one of them ones where people say the pictures or the videos don't do it justice. You've got to see it with your own eyes just to see how beautiful it is here. That's the train station that way. That's the way to the cable car. But I mean, if you come down this bit, there's a big complex here of all trendy restaurants and shops, or boutiques rather. Quite expensive, to be honest. It's full of hotels, really nice hotels as well. It's definitely money around here. Back in Poprad, I popped into a shopping mall, and it had a food court upstairs, and I went there, and they had an interesting thing there is you've got a buffet where you load your plate up with what you want, but they actually charge you by the weight of it. They weigh the plate, and then that's how they charge you. All of the beers that I had over there in Slovakia were nice, and a lot of them were 12%, very strong. But on the food front, all the food was great as well. But definitely my favourite was the sheep cheese dumplings with a few bits of bacon thrown in for good measure. That was beautiful. Yeah, I could eat that all day long. Having a couple of hours to spare, I decided to walk to the airport rather than get a taxi. There's no buses, trains, nothing. The only way you can do it is taxi or walk. Anyway, I decided to walk. It's taken the airport's just round the corner there. It's taken me an hour, but it's all roads like this. You shouldn't literally be walking along here. So get a taxi. Don't do as I do.